Hello everyone, welcome to another math online lesson. Our lesson for today is equations transformable to quadratic equations. Now I have here irrational algebraic expressions. Now how do we transform this one into the standard form of the quadratic equations? Now there are several ways in transforming this one. One of them is the application of the operations on fractions. But I'll be showing you here the second method, which I think it's the easiest one, by trying to eliminate the fraction in your rational algebraic expressions. So how does that method works? So I'll just rewrite the equation into again. So x minus 1 over x equals 5. Now, we need to find a way to eliminate this x so that there will be no fraction in our equation. Now, for us to be able to eliminate this variable x, all we need to do is to multiply the entire equation by x. Okay, so after multiplying, we need to distribute this x to each term using the distributive property of multiplication. So we have x times x will give us x squared. Okay, minus 1 times x will give you 1x or x. I will write 1 so that we will not be confused. We cannot combine directly a numerical coefficient and a variable. So with multiplying this one, basically you'll just pair the two terms. So 1 times x is 1x over x equals 5 times x is 5x. Okay, so here x divided by x is equal to 1. This will make the numerical coefficient of x an imaginary number, so x divided by x will give us 1. So you have x squared minus 1 equals 5x. Now in here, we do not have any fractions. And then we can transform this one into the standard form by using the additive inverse or simply transpose that one to the other side of the equation. So you have x squared, your positive 5x becomes negative 5x, and then minus 1 equals 0. So this is the quadratic equation for our algebraic equation here, rational algebraic equation. Again, the purpose of this one is simply to eliminate our fraction. This x can cancel out that x, so leaving you with the numerator 1, which is this one. Let's have another example. I have here 1 over x plus 4 equals to x. Again, we have a fraction here, so I'll just bring it down. The only way to eliminate that fraction is to to multiply the entire equation by the denominator of that fraction. So you have x. 1 over x, this will cancel out the 2x here, that one and that one, leaving us with 1. I'll bring down 1. Okay, again, this will cancel out this x and that x. So there's no need for you to go on with the process of distributive property by multiplying 1 and x, that becomes 1x, then divide by x, so the same result, 1. Okay, so this x and this x can cancel out, and then leaving us with the numerator 1 plus 4 times x will give you 4x, equals x times x is x squared. Then we can transform this one into the standard form of the quadratic equation by transposing that one to the other side, or you can use the additive inverse. X squared here is positive, transpose, that becomes negative x squared. And then let's just try to rearrange things on this side. Plus, following this one would be this one. For x, remember when you are rearranging terms on the same side, the sign of that term will not change. It will stay the same. Your 1 here is positive, so I'll just add positive 1 equals to 0. Now, as you notice, your x here, or your first term, has a negative sign, so you need to convert that one into positive by multiplying the entire equation with a negative 1. Negative 1 times negative is x squared. Negative 4 times negative 1 is negative 4x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 equals 0. So this will be our transformed quadratic equation with this rational algebraic expression. Another example. I have here x minus 1 divided by the quantity x plus 1 equals to 1 over x. Now, as you notice here, we only have one term on this side and a one term on this side. So the only way to transform this one into the standard quadratic equation is to use the cross multiplication. This is different from the previous two examples, because the previous two examples you have two terms on the other side with one term of fraction. That's why we use the elimination of fraction by multiplying the entire equation by the denominator. But in this case, you only have one term and another term on the different side of the equation. So the only way is to use the cross multiplication, meaning the numerator here will be multiplied to the denominator here. So you can write it x minus 1 times that one. Again, please practice using the parentheses in separating your terms, and then x plus 1 times this one, which is 1. Then from here, we'll use the distributive property of multiplication to simplify things. So you have x times x, x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x, or negative 1x, equals, here also, 1 times x is 1x, or x. 1 times 1 is positive 1. And then from here, we can transform this one into the standard form by transposing everything here to the other side, or you can just use the additive inverse. So I'll transpose x going here and my positive 1 going here also. So I'll bring down x squared minus x. My positive x here becomes negative x here. My positive 1 becomes negative 1 here, and then I'll equate everything to 0. Now notice here you have two similar terms. So simplifying this one, we'll have x squared. Negative x minus x is negative 2x minus 1 equals 0. And this is the standard form of our quadratic equation. So I hope you learned something today, and see you on my next online lesson.